Good day, thinkers, thought leaders, progressives, and dreamers. I'm Craig the Writer Stewart, and this is So Much to Say YouTube TV. These are my thoughts in my voice on black shit, white shit, gay shit, and everything in between. So Much to Say YouTube TV is the place that you come to learn and grow because we discuss socially relevant things mixed with a splash of humor. If you know you have tissue paper feelings, this probably isn't the channel for you. However, since you're here, I just need for you to do two things. Hit the like button, make sure you hit the subscribe button, and turn on that little bell so that you get the notification every single time that I go live or upload something new. I'll see you soon. Bye. Hey girl, hey. Hey boy, hey. Good day, thinkers, thought leaders, progressives, and dreamers. Is the mic working? Can you guys hear me? Amen, amen, amen. I had to situate my situation. I had to grab a copy of Book of Jules because we will be reading from the Book of Jules today. Chapters 1 through 12, or 1 through 11. Hey girl, hey. Hey boy, hey. Good day, thinkers, thought leaders, progressives, and dreamers. I'm Craig the Writer Stewart, and this is the Facebook and YouTube live versions of So Much to Say. These are my thoughts in my voice on black shit, white shit, gay shit, and everything in between. Niece. Now, Bible study assignment. The Bible study assignment that was assigned yesterday was to be sure to do your due diligence and watching the latest episode of Book of Jules. Amen. Amen. So there are 11 chapters in Book of Jules. So we will be kind of glossing over, let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 of the chapter, five of the chapters today. 5, niece, maybe even 6. Amen. I need to see a hand from all of the people that did their homework assignment. I know Janine said she did hers. Zen Baby did theirs. Anybody else? Oh, it's just 2. Oh, okay. Well, we're going to go ahead and jump into the text. Amen. Hit the share button, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and don't forget to hit that little bell so you'll remember to get your notification when the kid goes live. So anyway, I watched the latest episode of I was about to say Book of Jules. I was about to say Book of Jules, but Black Love. Now, the episode started with Tabitha. We got somebody asking when the homework assignment was assigned. I need you to pay attention to your emails and things. You know, you need to pay attention to the syllabus. When it goes out, you guys are grown adults. We're not going to be holding your hand. I need you to check your notifications and things. I posted the notification on Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube, and in the So Much to Say podcast pen pal group on Facebook. So if you did not see it, then I don't know what to tell you. But anyway, this episode was called... I don't remember what it was called, but they were talking about finances. And listen, those of you that have been following me for a while, you know that even when I was single, I used to talk about having the courage to have conversation about money and finances and credit. Amen. My credit is still under repair. Amen. If we know if there's anybody in here that's working for any of the bureaus, and you can assist me in raising my credit score, then please, by all means, lend a brother a hand. But at any rate, I used to say, even when I was single, listen, my next relationship, if we can talk about sex and have sex, do something as personal with sex, then we ought to be able to have conversations around finances. And I used to say all of the time, niece, that it is important to be able to have intimate conversations about love. Well, wait a minute. Listen, we got a saint that said they can assist. Listen, please notify me and let me know how you can assist my credit score, because it's not really on life support. It's breathing now, but you know, it needs It needs a little resuscitation. Amen. But at any rate, it's important to be able to have conversations around finances. You ought to be able to have intimate conversations around money. And see, some of you don't want to talk about money in your relationship. And you can suck dick and eat coochie and play with people's titties and all that kind of stuff, but you don't want to talk about money. So you ought to be able to have conversation around. See, this is the kind of church where we talk like that. We talk a little greasy in here. We talk a little greasy in here, niece. This is not your traditional church. We're reading from the book of Jules. If you don't have it, you want to visit CraigTheWriterStewart.com and go ahead and place your order. Oh, thank you for the Cash App. My girl Barbara Hyman sent her tithes in. And so did who is this in here? Let me see. Hold on. Cash App acting a little slow. Oh, it's opening. The system is moving a little slow. Oh, Janine just sent her tithes and offering. But no, seriously, though, you should be able to talk about finances. And I used to say this all the time because I've been in relationships where I was too bashful or too shy or insecure. Come on, be honest. How many is interested in the truth? To talk about finances because you're not comfortable with where your finances are, or you're not comfortable discussing your credit score. But relationships, and I say this all of the time, and I say it in here, relationships are the place that we go to learn and grow. And if you're not interested in learning or growing, then a relationship isn't the place you need to be. I'm looking for an amen. Amen. So this episode of Black Love opened with them talking about their finances. And so Tabitha shared their story of how they were living in North Carolina and how she moved across country to California to pursue her career as an actress. And she thought she'd be an A-list actress in 5 years. It did not happen because there's a chapter in here, the first chapter called Life. And in the first chapter called Life, I talk about how we can have these plans for our lives. But God and the universe will send us on a journey because there are certain lessons that only we can get if we go on that journey. Amen. Amen. So sometimes you have to go on a sojourn. Somebody say sojourn. In order to get the lesson that God or the universe wants you to get. So it may not happen in a year. It may happen in 7 years. And so what she was sharing was, here it is 10 years later, and she's just getting into her career as an actress. She talked about the different setbacks. I talk about setbacks in here and how sometimes we clam up or we get distracted by the setbacks. We start to think that our goal will never happen because of the setback. And so their setback, Tabitha's setback, was she had moved to California. She was living there for a few months and she was renting a room. She wasn't even in LA. Her plan was to move to LA so she could go on some auditions. She wasn't even in LA. She was in Orange County. Where are my people that live in Southern California? That ain't nowhere near LA. Orange County is not. So she was renting a room. She wasn't going on any auditions. She was only making enough money to pay her rent. She ended up moving back to North Carolina. She was there for 5 years. Life happened, niece. Life happened. She had a baby. They got married. And then she came back to California. So what I'm saying is, don't get distracted by the setbacks. The end is still the end. Your goal is still your goal. The story is still the story. The ending is still the ending. If you have intentions to start a business, to go back to school, or whatever it is, you can't get distracted by the obstacles. Those things are designed to grow you. Those things are designed to enrich you. Those things are designed to make you hungry for your dream or whatever it is that you want. Some of y'all ain't went to church this morning, but see, you're going to get what you need right here. Amen. I'm going to make sure you get what you need right here. And so they talked about, she was saying that when she was living in LA and she was struggling, she wasn't honest with there was her boyfriend at the time. She wasn't honest with him. She didn't tell him that she wasn't really making enough money to save. She wasn't telling him that she was only making enough money to pay the rent. But see, that's where that financial honesty and financial integrity comes in. Amen. I tweeted this yesterday. And it was because I was watching this episode of Black Love. I was watching this episode of Black Love, and I tweeted this because I was inspired by the episode. And I said, it's important to know your relationship strength, what you're good at and what they're good at. But it's equally important to know what you're both bad at. That's how you learn your relationship power as a couple. Because if you only focus on what you're better at than your partner, then you're missing opportunities for growth, right? So again, going back to what I was saying when I was single, like it's so important. It's critical to be able to have conversations about money and who's better at handling the money. Even if you were in your relationship and you guys have your separate accounts, I do believe in keeping your own separate account and having a joint account. And we can have a joint account together, but you can bet your bottom dollar that I got my own little ram in the bush over here. Amen. So there was a couple on there and they were talking about how they had a joint account, and it was just causing a lot of conflict in their relationship. I don't know their names, but it was the light-skinned woman. She had her hair braided up and it was up in a little bun, and her husband was sitting beside her, and he had like a burgundy maroon colored shirt. And they were talking about, she had an Amazon problem. You guys that watched it, those of you that did your homework, you know what I'm talking about. She had an Amazon problem. And so she was always ordering stuff from Amazon. And he liked to go to Panda Express, but he was better at saving money because he grew up with less. His family didn't have a lot of money. So once he started making money, he became a hoarder. He started saving his money, right? Which is not a bad thing. But see, she was a little financially immature. Somebody say it, financially immature. She was a little financially immature. She get a little money, she go spend it. Because see, she felt like she was rewarding herself. How many times have I talked to you guys about rewarding yourself and this false sense of doing that self-work, that inner work? You're not doing self-work and inner work just because you're treating yourself to a hairdo or a manicure and pedicure, or you're buying yourself a new pair of shoes or a purse or clothes. That's not self-care. And she realized that she was really pacifying a depression that she had. She had a shopping addiction. It was her way of, it was a vice. It was her way of not having to deal with or pay attention to what was going on in her life. And so what they realized as a couple was they needed to have a separate account. They had a joint account for their bills. They both put in a certain amount to pay their bills, like their mortgage or rent or whatever it is that they had. They had those kind of, they had an account for that purpose. But for their individual stuff, like for his Panda Express and wanting to eat out, and for her Amazon addiction, they did that from their own respective accounts, right? And she mentioned it to, see, this is why you got to keep some stuff to yourself. Some things ain't for your friends and family to know about your relationship. But see, some of y'all talk too much. She said she made the mistake of telling one of her family members or friend that they had separate accounts. And one of her friends was like, well, there ain't no marriage. There ain't really no marriage. No, you define your relationship needs. Stop letting people define your relationship for you. I need to sit here for a second because I need somebody to hear that. Stop telling so much. Stop letting people grade you. This goes back to the first episode of Black Love when I told you Tabitha broke up with her boyfriend, who is now her husband, right before she was going into high school because her sister told her, well, girl, you going to high school now. You don't need no boyfriend. You need to get rid of him because there's plenty of boys in high school. Stop letting people curate your relationship. Amen. You got to separate what you know to be true for love from what you've heard about love. Stop letting people define love and relationships for you. This is why I say all the time, stop listening to all that heartbreak ass music. That stuff permeates you. That comes in you. That it resides in you. All of you watching that show, Cheaters and stuff, all that cheating and carrying on. You gotta guard your chi, your energy. So this episode was so good to me. Like I really was gonna watch it again which I am. I'm gonna watch it again, but I wanted to watch it again before I had a conversation with you guys. But I'm gonna watch it again. But it was so good. Like you really need to watch this show. And then there was a couple on there, and again, I don't know their names because his wife had like a bob, and it was like a chisel bob, like right here. And he was an older guy. He was like fair skinned, and they talked about him fishing. He has all these hobbies that he spent his money on. Fishing. And they talked about having allowances. Now, I know some of y'all are strong black women. This ain't no man telling me about no allowance. I make the money. No, see, that's why you single, Niece, because you don't want to listen. And I'm not saying that you let a man control you and tell you what you do, but it's called partnership. It's called having a plan together. Amen. And there was a guy on there as well. He had mixed salt and pepper hair and beard. And he had a wife sitting next to him, and they were talking about how they had $1 million. They had graduated to $1 million house, and she was driving a Mercedes, and he had a fully loaded Eddie Bauer Explorer. But then they lost everything. Right? And then she had to go back to driving a Camry, and they were renting a house. She was better at money. She was better with money. And when they got married, he literally moved. He was a pastor. Yes, he was a pastor. When they got married, he literally moved from his mama's house to the house that he bought with his wife. So this is a whole nother conversation about how we raise boys. See, why were you still living with your mother in your mid-20s? Now, if he was from New York or somewhere in California, okay, I may understand because the cost of living is different there. And a lot of people that live in New York and a lot of people that live in California live at home with family longer than those of us who are from different parts of the country because it's just more expensive, right? So I get that. But the conversation still is there are some of you that are raising boys and you're going to make them a trifling man because you're coddling him, Niece. There's no reason that if you live in Arizona or if you live in somewhere like Little Rock, Arkansas, and the cost of living is decent enough that your young boy could be able to go out and get his own apartment, there's no reason that a 25-year-old should not be either in college or grad school or on his own, working in his own apartment. Like he need to be paying some bills or something. So he literally left from his mama's house and moved in with his wife, and he didn't understand. He didn't have a financial maturity. He lacked financial maturity. You know, there's emotional maturity, there's financial maturity. He didn't have financial maturity. But see, she had been on her own for years. Most women are. Most women are independent longer than boys. And so she was better at money. She knew how to stretch a dollar. And so he was used to just spending money on what he wanted to spend money on. Speaking of that damn Tank spent money like a fool. Tank, the singer. Financial literacy. That's the word I wanted. Financial literacy. He lacked financial literacy. And so he had a struggle. The pastor had a struggle with his wife. He resented the fact that she was taking over the money, that she was not spending the money, but handling the bills. But she was better at it. But see, he had to get his ego in check. See, we talk about ego in here. There's a chapter called Growth, Niece. But his ego wasn't intact. And see, that ego would destroy your relationship. I'm going to say it again. Ego will destroy your relationship, man, woman, or child. It will destroy your relationship. If you don't get control of that ego will control you. So he said it took him about 6 years to understand that, to get his ego in check and to realize that his wife was just better with finances and that it made more sense for her to take care of everything. It was a powerful episode. I'm telling you, you guys really need to watch this episode. You can learn so much, even if you're single. You don't have to be in a relationship to grow from this. This really could be preparing you for your relationship that's coming down the pike. Amen. Amen. I said amen. Let me take a swallow of this water. But the reason that I enjoy watching it is because it allows me to see myself, and it's an opportunity for growth. right? You get to see your opportunities for growth and how you do things, because a lot of times we think the way that we do things is the only way, or we think it's the way. And so this episode was really about relinquishing power, if you will, for the greater good. And there are going to be areas where you're great. There are going to be areas that your partner is great. But ultimately, one of the things that I got from Tabitha too was she talked about how, I know where I wanted to go with this. When Tabitha's boyfriend at the time, he wasn't her husband yet, when they moved to California, their family members and friends were like, "Oh man, you pussy whipped. You move it," because remember they're from North Carolina. You pussy whipped. You done moved all the way to see. This is how you allow the outside to infiltrate what's going on in the inside of your relationship. And Carlton and I had a conversation about this last night because I was talking to him about it, and he was moving across country. Tabitha's boyfriend was moving across country, and his family and friends were all like, "You're pussy whipped. You moving across the country for that girl." But see how if you're not, that's sabotage, niece. That's sabotage. Because see, just because people love you and they know you doesn't mean they want you to have something that they have yet to achieve. Your friends and family may love you, but they see you embarking on a relationship, a real kind of love. You about to start a brand new business, and they looking at you like, how you think you're going to do that? Because they don't want you to have something that they don't have. That don't mean they don't love you. They don't mean that they don't love you. And then sometimes people love you so much, like your parents, that they try to pull you back from something because they are afraid of that you'll get hurt. It's not always hate, because sometimes my mother used to do that. My mother used to be like, "Well, I don't know if you should do that." Girl, I don't need to adopt your fear. I don't need to adopt your fear. See, this is why you have to get centered, and you got to get still, and you got to listen to the voice of God so that you can close out the voices in the world. Because sometimes your parents, they love you so much and they want to shield you and protect you from everything, but they can't. Some lessons are for you to grow. And so sometimes they'll try to prevent you from doing something. "Oh, you don't need to go away to college. That's too far. Oh, I don't know if you should start that business. Oh, you sure you want to be in a relationship and move out of town with him? And what if it doesn't work out?" Niece, you got to trust your own compass. You got to trust your own compass. And so he ended up moving to California to be with her. And now they've been together now. How many years? They've been together a couple decades. They've been together think about the things that you have, listen, think about the things that you may have talked yourself out of because of what your friends and your family thought. I talk about in Book of Jewels how sometimes our thoughts and beliefs aren't our own. Sometimes there are the things that have been pushed on us because we are influenced by the world around us, the news, social media. Like you got to develop a filter. You got to develop a filter, niece. So anyway, he ended up moving across the country. And of course, the story is the story. But think about all of the times that you've allowed somebody to talk you out of something. You didn't go away to college. You didn't start a business. You didn't start working out. You didn't start losing weight. You losing weight and stuff. You know, you on your little workout plan and you got these naysayers. "Well, girl, I don't know why you paying for a gym membership. You ain't going to keep going." "Oh, okay, let me show you." You understand what I'm saying? So the way that I correlated this when I was talking to Carlton last night, we were talking about it. And I said, think about the people that could have intercepted our relationship. I don't think you hear me. Think about the people that could have intercepted our relationship. Okay? People will get the brainwashing you and stuff. Niece. Because see, here's the thing. And some of you that have been watching me for a while, you know the story. When Carlton and I started together, we met through mutual friends. And those friends were in his ear and some were in my ear trying to prevent it from happening. Amen? But here we just celebrated a year. And I have shared with you, and he has shared with you, that this relationship for me and for him has been the best relationship that we've ever had. Now, you know, people say that all of the time when they in a current thing. But what I'm telling you now is, to date, I've not allowed myself to love anybody the way that I love Carlton. I know that he's never allowed anybody to love him, or he's loved anybody the way he's loved me. And even without him telling me this is what his mom has said. This is what his grandmother has said. You understand what I'm saying? But think about all of the joy that we would not have experienced if we had allowed those people to get in our heads. We talked about this last night. And so think about if Tabitha's then boyfriend had allowed them people who were saying, oh, you pussy whip. What if he had allowed that to fuck with him? And then he would have started to, look, this family right here, she said, you sure haven't loved anybody like this? I haven't allowed myself to until now. But what if Tabitha's husband had allowed people to get in his head, and then he would have started messing with other girls, or he would not have moved out to California with her? Do you understand what I'm saying? And then remember the other relationship on there. It's the guy, he's like a sports agent. He has the curly hair, and his wife is Keita. And remember the story where she said she started paying his bills because he fell on hard times. Now, I'm going to tell y'all that is very, very synonymous with what was going on with Michelle and Barack Obama. Now, ladies, I tell you all the time, stop trying to save these men. Stop trying to prove to these men that you are a ride or die kind of chick. Stop putting shit in your name. Stop co-signing for cars and putting. Now, I'm not saying, but there's a difference. There's a distinction, beloved, as my girl Iyanla would say. There's a distinction between holding a man down and being a fool. There's a distinction. Now, if we need to go over the distinction, we can. First and foremost, if your spirit is doubtful, then the answer is no. Oprah used to say all of the time, doubt means don't. And see, here's the thing. She was simply holding him down. She was simply holding him down. She wasn't like, she did end up paying a car payment here and there and, was helping him with different bills. But he had a business that ended up getting in trouble, right? This is different from a man coming to you and saying, well, babe, you want to go ahead and co-sign that car for me? And no. He did everything in his power before he took anything from her. He even went and worked for $15 an hour. Like, he was trying to hold himself down. But that's what relationship and partnership is about. It's holding each other down. Now, it's different. It's different than that story that I told y'all about my homegirl who just bought the place and she spent $300,000. Remember I told you the guy supposedly got a furniture business and it ain't got no website yet. It just still says under construction. You got a furniture business and the website says under construction. The irony of that. There's a difference. He just sitting around letting her pay all of the bills. This man was doing his thing. He was doing his thing. So what I'm saying to you, ladies and gentlemen, those of you that are in relationships with people and your partner falls on hard times, it's okay to help them. It's okay to pay the cell phone bill. It's okay to pay the rent if you are in the position to do it. Now, I'm going to tell you that here's the difference. If you're not capable of doing that, you don't put yourself in a pickle. You don't put yourself in a predicament to help anybody because you can't help it. You can't give from a cup that's half empty. And there's a line in here, niece, in the growth chapter. There's a line in Book of Jewels, niece, in the growth chapter where I say, hold on, let me find it. Let me pull it up. Those of you that have the book, go ahead and grab your book. Let me find it because I want to read it exactly as I wrote it, but I may not be able to find it. I thought it was right here in this. Was it in the growth chapter? It may not be in the growth chapter, but I can't find it right now. But it's the point where I talk about A Course in Miracles. There's a book called A Course in Miracles, and I reference it in here. And I talk about when you give to a person above what you can afford to give, when you give to a person to the point that you're that you're now compromising, that you're now sacrificing, you're making that other person a thief. You may have heard Iyanla Vanzant say it, and I've referenced that in the book. I didn't steal it, niece. I did reference it. But you make that person a thief when you're giving, when you're sacrificing to give. If somebody asks you for $200 and you know you only got $200 to take care of your stuff and you loan it to them anyway, you're making that person a thief because you're sacrificing beyond what you can afford. So if you're in a relationship with somebody, you can't give what you don't have. You can help without crippling. You can help without crippling. Yes, obey your own boundaries. Set your own boundaries. It's okay to say no. There's power in saying no. Okay? But listen, I have an appointment, so I gotta go. But I want you guys, if you have not already, watch Black Love. It's only on the episode 2. It's season 5. It's on OWN. It's on the OWN network. They may even have it over there on YouTube somewhere. But the point is this. Catch up on these episodes because I'm telling you, I want to watch. I'm going to be discussing these episodes every week. Okay, we're going to have a weekly Sunday sermon. Amen. Please like the video. Please subscribe to the channel. I wish I could find it in here, niece, because I really wanted to read it to you. But I'll find it and then I'll read it. Well, I don't know if I'm going to read it the next time because it ain't going to really be in context. But the point is, I summarized it. But you guys have an amazing Sunday. I hope something that I said resonates with you. Thank you to everybody that sent the Cash App through here. I appreciate you. Let me say my thank yous real quick because I don't want you guys to think I'm ungrateful. Amen. Because I am still keeping my grateful journal. Y'all keeping y'all grateful journal? Yolanda. Thank you, Yolanda. Hey, girl. Hey. So listen, you guys have an amazing day. I appreciate you being here and for listening. Bye.